In 1961, a B-52 bomber carrying two massive nuclear warheads disintegrated mid-air over Goldsboro, North Carolina. Official reports declared it a harrowing accident, a narrowly avoided catastrophe. But as investigative journalist Elliot Graves digs deeper into the long-buried files, he unearths chilling evidence that the Goldsboro incident wasn't an accident at all. It was an inside job. The story unravels in a pulse-pounding race across decades as Elliot uncovers a covert faction within the U.S. military, known as the Umbra Directive, who orchestrated the incident to test whether the military's nuclear safeguards would prevent a domestic detonation, but the test was never authorized, at least, not officially. As Elliot gets closer to the truth, he discovers that one of the bombs didn't just almost detonate, may still be active. Buried deep in North Carolina soil, a ticking relic left on purpose. Haunted survivors, missing engineers, and encrypted tapes lead him to a second shocking revelation. The incident was a distraction. On the very same day, a secret transfer of nuclear materials took place, materials that remain unaccounted for. But the final twist cuts the deepest. Elliot's own family may have been involved in the cover-up, with his estranged father playing a key role in the Umbra Directive's original operation. As government agents close in, Elliot must decide: expose the truth and risk national panic, or bury the story forever like his father did. The day America bombed itself. The untold story of the Goldsboro Nuclear Incident. On January 24, 1961, over the quiet, rolling farmlands near Goldsboro, North Carolina, an event unfolded that could have changed history and the world as we know it. A U.S. Air Force B-52 Stratofortress bomber, carrying two Mark 39 hydrogen bombs, suddenly broke apart in midair. The official narrative described a harrowing accident, narrowly averted by the heroic actions of the crew and the fail-safe mechanisms built into the bombs. The incident was quickly swept under the rug, a near catastrophe that, thankfully, never became a disaster. But decades later, the story is not so simple. Investigative journalist Elliot Graves, a man driven by both professional curiosity and personal stakes, began peeling back the layers of this incident. What he found was a tangle of secrecy, deception, and cover-ups reaching far beyond a military accident. Official reports framed the event as a close call, a testament to the effectiveness of nuclear safeguards. But testimonies, classified documents, and eyewitness accounts hinted at a far darker truth. Graves started by examining the crash site's history and local perspectives. Goldsboro, a small town steeped in rural Americana, had seen a day of chaos and confusion. Residents remembered the sky tearing apart, hearing the roar and explosions. Official sources assured the public that the bombs were safely recovered and no harm came from the accident. Yet a retired Air Force mechanic, who had worked on nuclear weapon systems during the Cold War, confided to Elliot in a hushed conversation that one of the bombs was never fully recovered. They never told the public the whole story, the mechanic said, eyes scanning the empty diner room. One of those things is still out there, somewhere. This unsettling revelation shifted the entire investigation's trajectory. The idea that a live nuclear bomb might remain buried in American soil raised profound questions about government transparency, safety, and the consequences of Cold War brinkmanship. Elliot's personal connection deepened the story. A photograph discovered in a forgotten archive showed his estranged father, Robert Graves, posing with military personnel at the crash site. Robert was officially listed as part of the Air Force's recovery team. But family whispers and secretive conversations suggested Robert's involvement was more than just routine. Tom Graves, Elliot's uncle, revealed in a private meeting that Robert had played a crucial role, not simply cleaning up the wreckage, but managing a covert operation tied to the incident's true purpose. Meanwhile, Margaret Graves, Elliot's mother, issued a stern warning. Some things are better left buried. Don't dig up the past, or you'll tear this family apart. This intersection of personal and political drama fueled Elliot's resolve. His research led him to the Umbra Directive, a shadowy faction within the U.S. military bureaucracy during the Cold War. According to classified memos and testimonies, this group operated with minimal oversight, conducting unauthorized nuclear tests designed to assess the readiness and fail-safes of America's nuclear arsenal. If those tests risked civilian safety, A whistleblower in Washington, D.C., confirmed that the Goldsboro crash was no accident. It was, in fact, an unsanctioned live test, gone catastrophically wrong, gamble with the fate of millions, that was never officially approved. The story darkened when military experts explained the terrifying technical details. Each hydrogen bomb contained multiple redundant safety devices, designed to prevent accidental detonation. But at Goldsboro, several of these safeguards failed. One bomb's parachute deployed as intended, slowing its fall. Yet, a crucial switch had already armed the device, and only one tiny switch prevented a nuclear explosion capable of leveling the surrounding counties. Had that final fail-safe malfunctioned, it would have resulted in an unprecedented domestic nuclear disaster. Further digging uncovered geophysical surveys conducted near the crash site. These surveys revealed mysterious underground anomalies, metallic masses buried deep beneath the earth, consistent with unexploded ordnance. The U.S. government declined requests for excavation or further investigation, citing national security. But the possibility that a live nuclear weapon might still be hidden beneath North Carolina soil sent shockwaves through Elliott's mind. The investigation took an even stranger turn when Elliott located a storage unit in Atlanta, once rented by Robert Graves. Inside were dozens of old tapes and documents. On these recordings, Robert described a covert distraction mission occurring simultaneously with the Goldsboro crash. A secret transfer of nuclear materials to a private defense contractor located in Savannah, Georgia. This transaction suggested the military's nuclear assets were being diverted, possibly sold to private entities. An illegal and dangerous practice. Family tensions erupted. Jason Graves, Elliott's cousin and a career Army officer, confronted him. "You're risking everything, our name, our safety," Jason warned, during a bitter family confrontation in Raleigh. The situation escalated with the revelation that Robert Graves had not died in a car accident, as publicly believed. Instead, Robert disappeared after threatening to expose the Umbra Directive and its dark secrets. Leads surfaced, suggesting he was alive, living off the grid in the mountains near Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Elliott tracked down his father, now living under an assumed name in a modest cabin. In a fraught reunion, Robert confessed to his complicity in the Goldsboro operation, claiming he had believed the test would be controlled and contained. The weight of decades bore down on both men as Robert revealed a final, devastating truth. Margaret, Elliott's mother, had persuaded him to remain silent and vanish to protect not just their family, but the nation itself. Meanwhile, Elliott uncovered the identity of the private contractor in Savannah. Once an obscure defense subcontractor, it had grown into a multi-million-dollar corporation profiting from the covert transfer of nuclear materials. Even more unsettling was the discovery that Jason Graves was aligned with the modern incarnation of the Umbra Directive, willing to go to any lengths to protect the family legacy, including silencing Elliott. As government operatives closed in on him, Elliott faced a brutal decision. Should he expose the truth, risking mass panic and destabilizing national security? Should he protect his family's secrets, burying the story forever? Or should he cooperate with Jason to quietly contain the fallout? In a rare moment of vulnerability, Margaret admitted her decades-long role in orchestrating silence. "Survival meant sacrifice," she said, tears in her eyes. Sometimes the truth is the most dangerous weapon of all. Elliott chose a measured path, releasing a controlled leak to expose the buried bomb and the illegal nuclear dealings. The revelations ignited a media firestorm. Declassified maps showed numerous buried nuclear weapons scattered across the United States, silent relics of a Cold War era obsessed with deterrence but plagued by recklessness. Yet the story was far from over. From the shadows of Washington, Jason Graves watched the fallout with a calculating eye. The Umbra Directive's influence remained entrenched, its agenda continuing in secrecy. The dangerous legacy of Cold War secrecy, sacrifice, moral compromise, endures a haunting reminder that beneath America's surface, there are truths still buried, and the cost of unearthing them may be far greater than anyone ever imagined.